Hello YouTube. So this week our video is about pretty much what it's like to live in a small space with another person. Me and Josiah have been together now for 2 years and have been experimenting kind of living in tiny homes, so whether it be a van or a pull-behind trailer, and right now currently we are in an RV. Our RV is about 25 feet, including the cab, so we're able to kind of split it up into 3 different sections. One being the bedroom, sort of where the bed is in the kitchen and we can pull a curtain, and then there is the living room where it has the table and our TV in the bathroom. And then as well as our cab, we have a curtain there too where we sit in the seats and kind of use that maybe as an office or just as another kind of small room. So we did film a portion of this video driving in the car, me and Josiah chatting kind of what it's like to live together in a small space. Unfortunately, you can hear a lot of the car movement, and so you can't hear a whole lot, as well as we didn't really talk loud enough. So I'll include some of that, but I'm just going to kind of re-go over a few important things that I wanted to say. Living in a small space with someone is really hard. Living in a small space by yourself is challenging, and moving in with another person, even like especially for the first time, can be quite challenging, I would say. That is what we did. We have never lived in like an apartment or a house together. We've only ever lived in a tiny home. I've never lived with someone before, and so the first time I moved in with someone was when we moved in, I guess, with the van together first, and then into our pull-behind camper, which is 12-13 feet, and that really took me for a ride. I had a really hard time adjusting to such a tiny space. Josiah had a way better time because he has done it before by himself and as well with a past partner, so he was fine. I really struggled not having a bathroom, having a small bed, not being able to close the door, and just lots of things. And so to be in a space with someone all the time is quite challenging. We did live in our camper at first on a farm, and so when it's really nice out in the summertime, it's way better because you have the outside as your home. So we could cook outside, we can do pretty well anything outside, which is really fantastic. But once the winter seasons hit, it's quite hard because you want to sit inside and nest and, you know, do all your stuff inside, and you and the other person are wanting to do that. So I find we were clashing a lot with, well, I want to watch TV, well, I want to go to bed, or I want to use the bed for this and you want to use the bed for that. So compromise is really needed. This is why I moved out of the camper last year to live in an apartment throughout the summer, because I really struggled in the small space. And then we've got the RV, which is a little bit bigger, and we are still growing in this area, but it's way easier because we have a curtain to close if I need some quiet time, or if Josiah needs quiet time. I go to bed way earlier than Josiah does, and I get up earlier, so it's nice to be able to kind of close the curtain and then turn a light on. A tip that I'd give is headphones are a saving grace. We both have headphones for our own devices, so that if the one person wants to watch something and someone want to watch something else, then we can do that. As well as just sharing the space and being able to move around and take turns using certain things. We don't do a whole lot in the RV. I would say, like, if I want to work out or anything, I will go and work out at my parents' house or in the main house of my in-laws' house. As well as art, I don't really do art in the RV anymore. I used to like to paint a lot, and so if I have any like crafty things that I want to do, I'll do it at a friend's house or maybe at my parents' house. The other really big thing with having a really small space is friends and company. So we do not really have friends over ever, unless we have sometimes like a very special friend that we both really enjoy. Usually more on Josiah's side, we'll have them over once in a while to come hang out. It's more or less people who are visiting, we don't mind. And then Josiah's brother will come and hang out with us all the time just because we both enjoy his time. But because it's such a small space and it's hard to have people over, especially if someone's not feeling it, there's no way to escape that. And like, that's something more that would be my problem, is that if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I need to have quiet time and I need to have my space as my space. So that's something that would maybe struggle if you need to have lots of people over, or you just have that need to have friends over. If I need friend time, I will go for a walk outside with them, or I will go to their house. As well as just the tiny space. Essentially, this is just like a tip for if you're living with someone in general. Because it's such a tiny space, you need to make sure that you can look after yourself and your emotions and kind of keep your well-being. And this means that you have to be individual from your partner. So having your own life so that you feel fulfilled and that your partner's not always fulfilling you. This was something that was hard for me because I'm quite introverted and don't spend much time, mostly just with family and one or two friends, but I really like spending time with Josiah, so I would wait at home after work so that we could spend time together, but we always didn't want to do the same things, or Josiah would be tired, or maybe he wanted to do something with friends. So I found it's been really helpful for me to build my own friend group and have my own things to do and outlets and creative hobbies, so that just being two individuals coming together as a whole is way better than just constantly relying on each other for some sort of fulfillment. Because then it essentially gives peace, and as well as having individual time, because we are always together in this essentially small, tiny home, like a small room, you really need to be able to get out and go, because you're just gonna start hating each other if you're in each other's space all the time. So yeah, I tend to make a note. I like to leave the house more and go out and do things, and then Josiah kind of will be a homebody, or we'll switch it up. But I think that's something that has really helped me, is to be my own individual person and leave the house and take space. It can be hard if we're fighting because, again, it's a small space. There's no door to close. So sometimes, Josiah will go outside to go for a walk, or, we just need to cool down. So yeah, you're definitely forced to face emotions and hardship in such a small space. But I would say, like, in the RV, it's gotten a lot better. I've gotten really used to the small space and just being able to adapt. I'm really looking forward to summer, though, so that we can have lots more outside time. What's it like living with me in a small space? I feel like it's less hard for you than it is for me, because you've lived in small spaces with other people.
Living in a small space for me?
Yeah.
Lived in a 1980 GMC Bandera with a high top. Stayed in there for like half a winter. And then got my 1967 Scamper. And then lived in that for a winter.
When you also lived in a tent for a summer too, with another person. What was it like living in this camper together? I felt like it was way too small. Did you feel like it was too small?
Yeah, if we were like more mobile for towing it around different spots.
Well, I guess it was fine. That's what it was fine in like the first few months because it was warm out. When we were at the farm, we had a little outside setup, which was kind of. I remember riding my bike around the farm and like having lots of space, and we also had the garden to eat from, which was fun. Yeah, once we moved into your parents' place, but once it started getting cold and we had to be inside more, it was challenging because we had the TV by the bed, and you stay up very late, and I don't. I like to go to bed and have all the lights off, and then I get up super early, which you don't like because I'm loud and you want to sleep. Yeah, do you have anything else to reflect on when we lived in the camper? Anything that was hard for you? There was no bathroom. I really didn't like peeing outside in the middle of the night in the winter.
Yeah.
That sucks. That is when I moved into an apartment because I was feeling too small in the camper and we were starting to feel a little restless, so I took one for the team. It's nice to have space, and we needed that time to figure out what we should do and how to make things better, because that was also the first time that I've ever lived with somebody, and it's like probably not the greatest idea to live in a very, very small space that's like was a quarter of the size of my bedroom at the time.
It's a good experience.
But that is why we got the RV. But I would say though, because like something that I feel like I've done, or we both done, is that like we need a lot of, we try to have individual time, like us time. Because before that you enjoy this video. Again, like, living with somebody is just a big ordeal in the first place, so to kind of hit all those things that are essential to have a healthy relationship is something that you need to focus on, as well as just what it's like to live in a small space. Yeah, so I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you enjoy. If you really liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you have any more questions, you can comment them down below. And if you want to see more about the tiny home living, please subscribe. And again, I'm sorry for the loudness of the video of us together. It's unfortunate that we couldn't make that work. Thanks, YouTube.